everyone, me again. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm doing this video. I am sick again. A couple of months ago I was so sick that I was bedridden for like over a week. I won't go into it, watch my old videos, but I got really sick. And then I'd had all those period problems and I was sick as well. And then 2 weeks ago I got sick again and I was bedridden for 3 days. Finally got over that after 3 days. It took a few days to get my energy back. And then now I'm sick again and I thought I had toothache. At first I thought I had hay fever, then I thought I had toothache. Now it turns out I have a sinus infection. 2018 is just the year where like I have just been riddled with sickness. Like I just cannot believe the number of times I have been sick this year, and it is very unlike me. Like I used to be the one at school who would have 100% attendance and I never really had to take days off work, and I just, this year I just cannot believe the number of times I've been sick. So I don't know whether it's because kids bring sickness home from kindy, whether I'm just catching everything really easily, maybe my immune system's low, I don't know. My iron is low. I'm finally picking up my iron pills this week. Some of you messaged me and said, you need to take the iron pills, take the iron pills. So I'm taking the iron pills. I'm picking them up this week, as well as that I'm getting vitamin C as well, because my friend who's a nutritionist said that I should be taking vitamin C with the iron pills to help absorption. So I'm going to do that as well. Ran out of metformin pills a couple of weeks ago, just been too sick to go get more, so I haven't been on metformin for a few weeks. So all those yucky symptoms you get when you first start metformin, that'll be happening again when I take them again this week. It's just really shitty, yeah. That's not what you're watching this video for, but I just thought I'd let you know that I'm sick again, because obviously you can hear it in my voice. You can see it in my face. My hair hasn't been washed for a few days and I'm wearing my trusty around the house shirt. I love the sweatshirt when it's cold and I'm just hanging around at home. This is my sweatshirt. This is my one I wear to make me feel better. Okay, so if you're watching this video for the first time, you don't know what I'm talking about. I got my period at the start of the year and it did not stop. It went on for months and months and months and months. It went on for about 5-6 months. Then I finally got an ultrasound. They put me on tranexamic acid or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry if I snuffed. Tranexamic acid or something like that to try and stop the bleeding. Didn't work. Put me on Provera. Had an ultrasound. Found that my lining was 45 millimeters thick. Just to reiterate, that is 4.5 centimeters thick. That is a really thick uterine lining. Then had an ultrasound. Oh, I already said that. Oh my gosh. And they also saw like some sort of like what they thought was very large polyps or fibroids. They weren't sure what it is because you can't really tell via ultrasound apparently. Like they just know that there was something in there. And then only a few days after that ultrasound, I was in agony, and I passed 2 ginormous blood clots. And it was so painful, and I went to hospital about it and they sent me home, didn't do anything. 2 weeks later, after severely heavy bleeding, flooding everywhere, couldn't leave the house, I went to see my doctor and he was like, well, let's try some more pills, but then I ended up just about fainting on the floor because I was just so woozy. So I ended up being in the doctor's office for like 2 hours in one of their little rooms doing my blood pressure, and they were trying to get me to go to the hospital in an ambulance, and I was like, hell to the no, I don't want to go in an ambulance. I'm the person who likes to bring the least attention to myself with that kind of thing. I was like, I'm not going to the hospital in an ambulance, and I'm not going to the hospital because last time they just sent me home and told me I'm young and I'm fine. So anyway, after that, I had to be on the waiting list to get an appointment with a gynecologist. The gynecologist finally saw me, said that they would like to do a, here we go again, a hysteroscopy. Hysteroscopy. I hope that's right. Anyway, so we're fast forwarding a lot here. So then I finally got my hysteroscopy, and basically from what you guys saw in the video of that surgery, that we were just kind of left waiting. The doctors were baffled. They were like looking at it going, what is this? Like, this is not a polyp or a fibroid. We're like, what is this? And the ultrasound. And the ultrasound I'd already had. I didn't have an ultrasound at the hospital. And so they went in. I woke up from my surgery and we waited and waited. Doctor went home. So they called the registrar or something that was on, and we waited 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4, maybe like 3 or 4 hours, and still no one came to see me. And I was like, well, I gotta get home at 6 o'clock at night. I've got a babysitter watching my kids. So we left. A nurse left a message on the doctor's phone. I don't think she was meant to though, because it's like, obviously, like, it wasn't after hours or anything, but I think she did it for me because I was like, well, what the heck happened? Like, what went down? Because there were no notes on it. It just said DNC performed. Like, there was no notes on actually what they saw in there. So for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So my surgery was on the 9th of August. It is now the end of September. And I finally got a letter about a week ago, and it was dated the 24th of August. Like, and it took that long to get to me for some reason. I don't know why. But basically after my surgery, I stopped taking all of the pills. And so after the surgery, I had 2 weeks of quite heavy bleeding, and I called the nurse and I was like, you know, is this normal? She was like, oh, you know, it's probably all right. Just see out the weekend, because then you won't have to pay $80 to come and see the doctor and come in on Monday. 5 minutes later, I got a call back from her, and she's like, no, the doctor wants you to go to A&E. I was like, are you serious? So I hung up the phone and I didn't go to A&E. Because I'm naughty and I don't like to go to the hospital unless I really, 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 really have to. Eventually, like another week later, it stopped. It finally started to slow down and it stopped. And basically, I have not had another period since. So I've not had any bleeding, which is good because I'm finally not bleeding every day for 6 months. But it's also like, damn it, obviously I'm not going to get any cycles. But we'll give it some time. We'll see what happens. So anyway, what you're all here for, to find out what the heck went down. So this letter basically says, I'm running to let you know that the tissue we removed, so they took a little bit of tissue out to test it as well. The tissue we removed from your uterus has shown no evidence of precancerous or cancerous changes, which is really reassuring. Yay, great. That's what we all like to know, that we don't have cancer. I suspect, therefore, that the most likely cause of your recent heavy bleeding and the ultrasound which showed a thickened lining to the uterus was that you had a small piece of retained tissue or blood clot after your delivery. So they think that obviously something got stuck in there or stayed behind after I delivered Micah, which was an emergency cesarean section. Because if you don't know, I was pushing and everything was going great, and I was like, yeah, we're getting this baby out and things are going fine. And then I was like, okay, I need to push now. And they were like, okay, hop on your back, we'll just check that you're fully dilated, and put her hand up there, and she's like, that's feet. So Micah, who was head down all through my labour, then decided to flip to coming out feet first in the very last stages of labour. Like, apparently it's quite unheard of, but that's what he did. So then I had to be rushed in for an emergency cesarean. So anyway, it says this appears to have now completely resolved. So, and it says to stop all my drugs, which I'd already done after my surgery anyway. Based on the results I've obtained today, I would expect your periods to normalise and become regular again. If you have any ongoing concerns, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I've never had regular periods. In fact, I don't really get any periods. Hence, my 2 kids being from IVF, last kid being through Femara Electroson. So, those giant blood clots that they saw in the ultrasound, what they saw in the ultrasound, which they thought might have been fibroids or polyps or something, and they said that they were very sizable, which when you put all the dots together kind of explains those 2 giant blood clots that I passed only a few days after that ultrasound. So those blood clots obviously was something from after my delivery. What did they say in here? They did say blood clots. They said blood clots or retained tissue, so perhaps like placental tissue or just something like that from after delivering Micah. So it's a bit crazy that 18 months after delivering my baby, I've been having all these issues? Like, that's just insane. I mean, they started when Micah was just before he turned 1, because that's when I've got the first cycle, and that one was normal, and then the next cycle after that, that's when the bleeding just never stopped, and then it got heavy and got just super crazy. So yeah, that is the story. So obviously that's all resolved now, thank the Lord. I could not go through more bleeding again. So now I guess the real test will be to see if I do get another period, if it just is normal and it stops. But to be honest, I just don't think I'm going to get any cycles. Like, I think my body's done its dash after every baby. I get a period for like the first couple of months after I finish breastfeeding, which is usually about 11-12 months after they've been born. I get a couple of cycles, and then they get longer, and they get longer, and they get longer, and then eventually they just stop. And that's happened after every baby. So obviously, because, you know, Micah's now nearly, you know, he's like 19 months old, and I did have that bleeding, that was obviously, you know, my few cycles, and now it's stopped. So I'm not really holding out any hope for my cycles returning. I think that I'm just going to go back to my normal PCOS self and not have any cycles, but at least it's stopped. I'd rather have no cycles than be continuously bleeding like I was. So there you go, there you have it. That is the whole story, finally finished. What a year, what a year. I really hope 2019 is a much better year. I really hope so. I have to have another blood test in a couple of weeks, I think, to recheck my iron. I don't think it's going to be good. My ferritin or something, whatever it's called, was like 15 or 16 the last time it was checked, and I'm not been on iron pills or up to my food that have iron in it at all. So I have a feeling it's not going to be, it might even be worse. I don't know. Just hopefully I don't become anemic. What a year. Anyway, thank you for watching. I feel okay. I've taken some Panadol, so I feel okay today. I don't feel like someone punched me in the eyeballs today, which is how I felt on Monday. And I haven't been able to sleep, and I have been having a terrible sore face. This side, I honestly thought it was my tooth. I thought I was going to have to get a filling or get a tooth pulled or a root canal or something. The pain was so bad. I was like, why again? Why? And then now today it's moved to this side, which I can't feel anything because I drugged myself up this morning. Yeah. What's going on? Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around through all my sickness. That is why my videos have been very sparse a few months, because I just keep getting sick. Give this video, seriously, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Just give me a thumbs up and go, you're gonna get through this year, girl. You know, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Oh gosh. Comment if you would like to, and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment if you have any advice for me to try and make my immune system get way better and not get sick 50 times again next year. That'd be great. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next vlog. Bye.